Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I know it's been a while, but here is my mock draft 1.0 for the 2021 NFL Draft. Keep in mind, a couple things to keep in mind here is the first thing is the college football season isn't over yet, so we could still have some risers and some fallers in the draft, plus the NFL Combine hasn't happened yet, so once again, risers and fallers for the Combine, so my player rankings aren't really set in stone yet. I was going to do my player rankings by each position, but I realized I really can't do that at the moment because of the fact that Combine hasn't happened and the college football season hasn't happened yet. I might do one after the college football season, but I'd rather just do one big board, I guess. And then the second thing is to keep in mind that this is not my draft order. I'm using the Draft Network's order, which I believe is based on current standings. So, yeah, here we go. Remember, you guys are going to probably disagree with me, but that's okay. Everyone has their own opinion. Let me know your mocks in the comments, and yeah, let's get into this. So, with the first overall pick, it's fairly obvious. It's Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback from Clemson. Enough said. I think if the Jets are picking number one overall, they're going to move on from Sam Darnold, who I think Sam Darnold could use a change of scenery. So depending on where he ends up, yeah, I think they'll trade away Sam Darnold, maybe get a second, third round pick for him. And yeah, it's fairly obvious. The second pick, the Jaguars are going to select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State. Pretty obvious again. Minshew Mania hasn't worked out this season, so they're going Justin Fields. And something that I do want to say is I'm really high on Justin Fields. I think he could have a better NFL career than Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is the better player right now, obviously, but I think if Justin Fields goes to the right situation and develops and is unlocked to the best of his potential, I think he could be the best quarterback from this draft class. Personally, for me, he is my favorite player in the draft class. I think he's going to have a fantastic career, so no matter where he goes, I'm going to be a fan of him because, like I said, he's my favorite player in this draft. But, yeah, I'm going number 2 to the Jags. Number 3, this one's fairly simple. Penei Sewell. If you're not counting Trevor Lawrence, Penei Sewell is probably the best player in the draft. If he went out with last year's tackle class, he would have been the first tackle that I would have taken. He's just that good. Yeah, and obviously Joe Burrow's gotten injured. They need to protect him because that line is not great. Obviously, like I said, Joe Burrow got hurt against the football team, and Penei Sewell will help that offensive line tremendously. Coming in with the fourth pick, I have the Cowboys going Patrick Surtain, the second out of Alabama. I think that their secondary could use a little bit of work, and I think pairing Patrick Surtain and Trevon Diggs back together, the teammates back together in Dallas, I think that could be huge for them. They'll obviously have the chemistry already, and I think that will help the Cowboys out tremendously. Plus, I kind of hope he falls to my Broncos. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I want my Broncos to take him if he's available. Or Penei Sewell, if either one of them fall, which I don't think is going to happen. But yeah. With the fifth pick, I have the LA Chargers selecting Gregory Rousseau. There are different directions the Chargers could have went with this pick. But I went Gregory Rousseau, A, because Patrick Surtain is already off the board, and B, I think they're going to lose Melvin Ingram in free agency. Obviously, they don't want that to happen, but I think that it might, and I think that Gregory Rousseau it would be a good replacement. I think he's got a high ceiling. Obviously, he opted out this year, I believe. But he's still my number one edge rusher. Kwity Paye has gotten up there, but yeah, Gregory Rousseau is the pick for me here. With the sixth pick, I have the Giants select Kwity Paye, edge rusher out of Michigan. It could select a quarterback here, but I don't know. I don't know. I think they stick it out with Daniel Jones for another year. Maybe they sign a veteran. Maybe they trade for Sam Darnold, something like that. But Kwity Paye on that defense would just be fantastic. He's risen up my boards tremendously, especially since his teammate Aiden Hutchinson. Um, I think he got injured, right? He either got injured or he opted out, and Kwity Paye has just been killing it this year. With the seventh pick, I have the Falcons selecting Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. Now, Zach Wilson is my number three quarterback. I've never really been that high on Trey Lance. There's just something that, I don't know. It's something that I'm just a little bit skeptical of his game. I still think he's a good quarterback and he'll go in the first round, but Zach Wilson, he's got the arm talent. And if he falls to the Falcons at 7, and he has the opportunity to sit behind Matt Ryan for a year and learn before maybe shipping out Matt Ryan and then giving Zach Wilson the weapons they have in Atlanta, Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. I mean, Zach Wilson would be fitting into a perfect position. And yeah, Zach Wilson, probably well, okay, so I said Justin Fields was my favorite. He is. Zach Wilson's probably my second favorite. And then whoever the Broncos take, I'm obviously going to support. But yeah, Zach Wilson, so yeah, Justin Fields is my favorite prospect in this draft. And then I'd probably say Zach Wilson is my second favorite prospect in this draft. Next at 8th, the Eagles take Jamar Chase, wide receiver out of LSU. They need weapons to try to salvage Carson Wentz's career, which isn't looking so great right now. And I think Jamar Chase could help that, or help Carson Wentz, or whoever they bring in to replace Carson Wentz. I'm still absolutely shocked they took Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Maybe Jalen Reagor will be a better player in the long run, but I would have thought that the Eagles would have taken Justin Jefferson with their pick. Instead, he goes one pick later to the Vikings. And are the Eagles regretting that? Maybe. But if you have the chance to get the best wide receiver this year in Jamar Chase, you can't pass it up. You can't pass him up. At 9, the Lions go Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama. I was thinking Micah Parsons here. But then I was thinking to myself, well, they got Kenny Galladay, and I don't think that Marvin Jones, that's his name, right? His name just kind of just disappeared out of my mind. I think it's Marvin Jones. Yeah, it's Marvin Jones. I don't know if Marvin Jones is going to be coming back, so I think get Jalen Waddle in the draft. And this could be a different receiver too. I think this could be Devonta Smith if they're concerned about Jalen Waddle's injury. But if they're not concerned about that, Jalen Waddle is definitely the second best receiver behind Jamar Chase in my eyes. And given Matt Stafford, Jalen Waddle, and Kenny Galladay, that'd be huge. And yeah, Kenny Galladay, Jalen Waddle, T.J. Hawkinson, and then they got Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift. I mean, that's a scary offense right there. Obviously, Matt Stafford's career is coming to an end, but get him some help this year. And then whoever is going to be Matt Stafford's replacement is already going to have a fantastic offense to take over from. And I do think they're going to get a new head coach. Whether that be Eric Bieniemy, who knows? But I definitely think Jalen Waddle would be a great pick to replace Marvin Jones. With the 10th pick, I had the Panthers selecting Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. I know they selected all defensive players last year, Derek Brown, Jeremy Chin, but when linebacker is your biggest positional need, I don't think you can pass up the best linebacker in the draft in Micah Parsons. And I do think he opted out as well, but in my eyes, he's still the best linebacker in this class. Obviously, you're going to want to build up your offense. I feel like you can do that in the second round. Is Teddy Bridgewater your answer at quarterback? I don't think so, but maybe you could pick up someone like a Mac Jones in the second round. Um, but yeah, biggest need is linebacker. I don't think you can go wrong with Micah Parsons. Then with the 11th pick, I have the Dolphins selecting Devonta Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. Now, the Dolphins could go different directions here, but my thinking is pair up someone opposite of Devontae Parker. You got obviously Devontae Parker, Mike Gesicki, and then Devonta Smith. And I love this pairing because Devonta Smith and Tua were college teammates, and giving him another weapon opposite of Devontae Parker is, I think it would be huge and help Tua out a lot. I mean, that offense would be scary. Devontae Parker, and Devonta Smith. Man, he would have some weapons. Dolphins are starting to look like a good team. Next, with the 12th pick, this one's going to be shocking, and y'all are going to get mad at me in the comments, but I have the Vikings selecting Kyle Trask, quarterback out of Florida. Like I said, I'm not a huge Trey Lance fan, and I'll talk about that more when he gets picked. But I think Kyle Trask is a sleeper. He's the Joe Burrow of this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season he was also the number 4 quarterback on most people's boards. Mine goes Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Kyle Trask. Or no, sorry. Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask, and Trey Lance. I wouldn't be surprised if he moved up a lot of people's boards by the end of the year. He's having an absolute unbelievable season. And I don't think the Vikings want to stick around with Kirk Cousins, so I think they move on from him, trade him, cut him, whatever. But I think that the Vikings do draft a quarterback here, whether that be Trask or Lance, and I have him going Trask because I personally prefer Trask over Trey Lance. With the 13th pick, I have the Patriots selecting Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. Absolutely, undisputedly, the best tight end in this draft. Did the Patriots draft 2 tight ends in the 2020 draft? I think they did. But regardless, I don't know if they're working out or not. And I think tight end is still one of their big needs. And adding Kyle Pitts out of Florida for whoever's going to be the quarterback there, whether that be Cam Newton for another year, Jarrett Stidham, Brian Hoyer, whatever. I don't know. I think that Kyle Pitts would help who's ever the quarterback in New England. With the 14th pick and the 49ers selecting Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia Tech. This one was hard for me. I was really just confused with what I wanted to do with the 49ers. I think they're in a weird position. I think they're in a position where if they wanted to, they could trade back, maybe trade up for a prospect they want. But at this range, there wasn't really anybody besides Caleb Farley that I could really see them taking here. And so that's why I gave him. And I think 49ers fans would like this pick. I mean, this was the best player to go to, that made sense to go to the 49ers, in my opinion. At 15, we got my favorite team, the Denver Broncos, selecting J.C. Horn, cornerback out of South Carolina. It's no secret that we need cornerback help. Our 3 biggest needs are tackle, cornerback, and linebacker. And J.C. Horn, I think, could be a great cornerback one for us. Don't get me wrong, I think Bryce Callahan is played amazing as a slot corner. He is getting up there in age, so maybe sign him after the end of the season to a small 1 or 2 year deal to play the slot. And then Michael Ojemudia has impressed me from the games he's played. I don't know why we've taken him out. And then AJ Boye has just been hurt this season. And so I think J.C. Horn could be an absolute stud in the NFL and a lockdown for my Broncos. If Micah Parsons fell this far, I definitely see us taking him. Um, I don't, and I know a lot of Broncos fans might be thinking, "Hey, well, let's take a quarterback." Drew Lock hasn't worked out, and to them, I say, give him some time to develop. He's gotten hurt twice, and he hasn't even played a full season's worth of games this year. Or in his career, he hasn't played a full season worth of games, and so I think just give him some time. Give him, I say, give him next year. Give him the rest of the season, and if he plays well, give him next season. But maybe bring in someone to kind of light a fire under him. In case he does fail, we need someone else goes in. Maybe a Sam Darnold, something like that. But I say give Drew Lock another season. If that doesn't work out, then look to the 2022 quarterback class, which isn't a strong class, but look to that class to find our replacement. Next at 16, I have the Bears selecting Trey Lance, quarterback out of North Dakota State. Like I said, Trey Lance isn't the highest quarterback on my list. He's number 5, and the last quarterback I have going in the first round. And I think he can develop into a great quarterback, but I do think he needs to sit. I mean, yeah, the one impressive thing that I thought is not the one game he played this year, but the last season he actually had 33 touchdowns and no interceptions. So he really took care of the ball, which is something that I do like. That shows he can take care of the ball. But then the one game he played this season, he didn't look the greatest, and he kind of struggled. So that's why he fell down in my rankings. But he's never been the number 3 quarterback for me. In the preseason, before the season even started, I was thinking about releasing a mock draft, and he was actually the 4th quarterback. He was Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, then Jamie Newman, and Trey Lance. Obviously, Jamie Newman has dropped way down my board, but yeah, Trey Lance has just never been the number 3 quarterback for me, and for right now, he's the number 5 quarterback on my board. At 17, I have the Dolphins selecting Joseph Osai, edge rusher out of Texas. I'm just adding help for their defense, really. But they got Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Kyle Van Noy, Van Ginkel, whatever his name is. But Joseph Osai out of Texas, I mean, that's a huge pickup for the Dolphins. At 18, I got the Ravens selecting Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver out of Minnesota. Just giving Lamar Jackson some more weapons, giving some help to Hollywood Brown. Just the best receiver, or not the best receiver, but I think that would help Hollywood Brown get open. I mean, their receivers right now aren't the greatest. Des Bryant they signed, which we'll see how that turns out. He's played a couple games already. And then, yeah, honestly, then Marquise Brown is the main target there. So I think get him some help with Rashad Bateman. At 19, I have the Washington football team selecting Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. Now, if you're wondering why Washington is picking this late in the draft, is because the Draft Network thinks that Washington is going to make the playoffs in the NFC East. So, yeah. And just getting some help, getting that replacement for Trent Williams, protect whoever their quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be Dwayne Haskins? Probably not. Going to be Kyle Allen, Alex Smith, whoever it's going to be. They just got they got to protect their quarterback. So I have them selecting Christian Darrisaw. At 20, I have the Cardinals selecting Jeremiah Owusu-Kamara out of Notre Dame. Yeah, I kind of forgot to put the position here. I believe he is a linebacker. So getting him some help on. Let me see. Let me see here. He is indeed a linebacker. Yeah, just helping the Cardinals linebacker core. To be honest, it's good, but I don't know. They haven't really been using Isaiah Simmons a lot, or that well, I should say. So I have him selecting JOKs, we'll say. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Kind of got my screen in there. And then I have the Raiders selecting Wyatt Davis, interior offensive lineman out of Ohio State, protecting Derek Carr, giving him some more time. Wyatt is the best interior lineman in this draft, and yeah, that's who I have the Raiders selecting. And the Bucs selecting Jay Toffoli, interior defensive lineman out of USC. I'm kind of torn between Jay Toffoli if he's a first rounder or not, but I do think he is. I think he's the best interior lineman in this class, and yeah, I think he's gonna help that Bucs defensive line pretty well. Then the Colts select Samuel Cosmi, offensive tackle out of Texas. I think what is their tackle? Anyway, I won't take time, but I think their tackle's gonna be his mind is slipping, or his name has slipped my mind. Let me see. Colts tackle. Dude, this is bothering me. His name is on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, okay, I'm just having them select Samuel Cosmi to replace their tackle that is going to be retiring soon. At 24, I had the Browns selecting Eric Stokes, cornerback out of Georgia. They got Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, and now Eric Stokes. I think that secondary could be pretty fire, and yeah, I think that'd be a good pickup for them. At 25, I have the Jets selecting Trevor Lawrence's teammate Travis Etienne, running back out of Clemson. The two Clemson guys going to the same team, and yeah, I already have that chemistry on offense. Packers, I have selecting Shaun Wade, cornerback, Ohio State. They could go receiver here, but I think they could also use some help in the secondary, and that's why I have Shaun Wade going to the Packers here at 26. Then at 27, I have the Titans selecting Elijah Vera Tucker, interior offensive lineman, USC, just to protect Ryan Tannehill and obviously open up gaps and holes for Derrick Henry. 28, I have the Bills selecting Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Think that he's going to help protect Josh Allen pretty well, and yeah, I got Slater going to the Bills. 29, the Jags, I have Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama, who's dropped a lot on my board. He used to be the number 2 tackle behind Sewell, drops down to 29, and is going to help protect the Jags' new franchise quarterback in Justin Fields. At 30, I have the Chiefs selecting Creed Humphrey, interior offensive lineman. He's a center, but they don't need him at center. Out of Oklahoma, and just when you got Patrick Mahomes, you're going to want to do as much as you can to protect him, and Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma is going to help you do that. 31, I have the Saints selecting Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue. Emmanuel Sanders isn't gonna be around forever, and Michael Thomas, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Michael Thomas, but getting Rondale Moore, dude, I think that would help. Is Drew Brees going to retire next year? Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, who's ever their quarterback, go with Rondale Moore and give them another weapon. And then the Steelers, I'm having them select Liam Eichenberg, tackle out of Notre Dame, to protect Big Ben or whoever their new quarterback is going to be for whenever Big Ben retires. Hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I'll catch you in my next video, hopefully very soon. Peace.